So, hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth from Sacred Earth and Storm School, and thank you for joining me. Today is the 16th of June, and yesterday we had a very powerful day when there were two squares. There was a square, astrological squares, or quite challenging aspects. The one involved Jupiter and Saturn, and this comes from the original alignment or conjunction, as they call it, where the two planets were absolutely at the same place at 0 degree of Aquarius, and that was on 20 December 2020, which was the Capricorn solstice. And since then, the planets have been in this dance and they formed an opposition and a square, and yesterday was the last square. So it's like we've been stepping into a real path of transformation since that time. If you will recall, in 2020, we were kind of in the middle of the pandemic, and yeah, the world was changing a lot. I was actually on that day with a group at Abydos, the heart temple in Egypt. We managed to travel during that time, and we made that conscious intention to go there and to celebrate the solstice and also this very big, important alignment for humanity. So it really feels, we really, once again, still in this year, and especially at this time, going through a really big phase of intensity. And I just want to also briefly say that yesterday the other square was between Mars and Uranus. And that's also very important. Uranus governs Aquarius, and Mars is the planet of, governed by Aries. And as we know, Saturn and Neptune have just gone into the sign of Aries. So a lot of fire energy in a way, fire and also air, Aquarius and Uranus. And Uranus is going to go next month, the 7th of July, going into changing signs. It's a big deal, and July is probably the most important month in a way this year when Uranus does that, and it goes into an air sign of Gemini. So Uranus is very, very activated, but Mars had this square yesterday with it, and Mars can often bring up quite a lot of anger and fire, an excess of fire, feeling quite rebellious, angry, just quite upheaval energy. So there may even be earth changes, etc. But certainly I felt it in my body and in my being. And it's almost as if I felt under a lot of pressure. And obviously that would have also been emphasized by this last square between Jupiter and Saturn. So the bottom line of all of this is, as we now going forward to the solstice, where the sun is changing signs on the 20th, Friday, going into Cancer. It's still at the moment in Gemini, as we know. So it's going to go into Cancer, and the very day after that, on the 21st, the next day, we have the Cancer Solstice. The northern hemisphere, it's the summer solstice, and here in the southern hemisphere, it is the winter solstice. And as we know, these are very, very powerfully aligned days. It's like the sun hits the planet, our planet, beautiful planet Earth, at very precise, beautiful angles, perfect angles, bringing in rejuvenation, activation, intensity, but in a really rejuvenating kind of way. So this is always a very beautiful time, and the ancient people and throughout the ages, people connected to the earth have always celebrated this as a very positive event for our planet. So the solstice is coming up, and it feels to me, that this would, once again, that will bring quite a lot of positive energy for us. Just as this last square we've now gone past yesterday between Saturn and Jupiter, and it's going to ease up, so we really are getting more into the new, and it's like we're able to move forward more easily because It's like this past paradigm that has been so immobilizing and so heavy, and in a way almost like a burden, is starting to fall away. Why? Also because we have chosen to interact with it, to look at it, to take responsibility, which is this whole Saturn in the whole thing. Take responsibility for it, and step out of our own victimhood. And because that's responsibilities to say, I am a co-creator of all of this, and it isn't just happening to me. So as we've been doing that, it's like we're starting to free ourselves. We're becoming freer and freer and able to move forward. And that is amazing, because as Uranus is moving into Gemini next month, on the 7th of July, it's like Uranus is air anyway, and it's going into an air sign. So we're going to have an amazing expansion of higher thinking, of new inventions, of just living totally in a new way. And I'm sure you've also felt it in yourself, that there's definitely a huge change happening. And so, the earth would really love us to remember that this shift into the Aquarian, like as I started the video talking about this big alignment that happened in 2020 on the Capricorn solstice between Jupiter and Saturn, setting a whole new political and socio-economic basis for a new world, as it were, the Aquarian, which is about brother and sisterhood, equality, higher thinking, just a very much more evolved way of being. That change, that it's like a revolution, but please don't look for it on the outside, because the Aquarian revolution is happening inside. So you will be able to witness that within yourself. And because we're going through it, we don't really realize that it's happening so much, because we're in it, but we're not observing it. But if you for a moment just want to step outside of yourself and look at yourself and your life and just the way you are and the way you respond and the way you think, there's not one person on this planet that is not different. We have actually evolved. We have moved on a lot, and we may not even realize that. And that is the inner change that is upon us. So please bear that in mind. And if you feel discouraged and you see what's going on the outside, also in your own just personal sphere or life, it doesn't always have to be out there in the, in the media, but certainly it is there. Don't lose hope, don't lose heart, because know that this unity that the Aquarian also truly represents and embodies it's within us. So if you feel that there's if you get very upset by the disharmony and the lack of unity on the outside in the world that you observe, just remember to bring yourself back to you and say, okay, where is this in me that I can become more aware of? Because this is the thing, we consciously we're not there, but unconsciously and subconsciously, there are still aspects of us that are kind of hidden away, that has been pushed down by us, by previous generations of trauma, of old thinking, of conditioning, of, being indoctrinated to think in old ways that are not true and have truly separated us. So hold the intention for that to surface and be grateful for when it surfaces. I've had personal experience of it. We all have, and my first instinct is, why me? But then, go to the next question and say, it's not why me. It's, what is the opportunity in this? What can I become aware of that is holding me back massively? I don't even realize it is. And look, it's coming up. It's not a nice thing to encounter maybe, but you know what? If I face it, it is now so easy. I just need that willingness to be responsible, to say, I'm not going to blame so-and-so. I'm not going to blame the world. I'm not going to blame blah, 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 all of that. So let's just delete and uncreate all the blame, programming and implants and conditioning that we've had. which is victim consciousness. And let's just let it go now and say enough. We can create differently now, and this is the key to success now. This is the way to step forward, and we are. And just also lastly to say, the two other alignments that maybe you could tune into or become aware of more consciously is, as we know, that Jupiter went into Cancer, and Jupiter will expand. So Jupiter expands, it brings good luck, but in that good luck, sometimes what would occur is it would also expand what needs to be addressed, what needs to be looked at. So if things seem to be blowing up a bit and it's not necessarily, comfortable, just take heart and once again know that Jupiter is actually helping you. It's magnifying it for you to say, hey, it's like putting it under the magnifying glass and saying, this is something that is going to hold you back now and the future now. And this is something to address now. And now's the time, and you can. So Jupiter in Cancer is also going to bring up a much greater collective awareness of, kindness, nurturing, and finding that inner home. And I'm sure you've experienced it too, that there's just an awareness of, I have to start nurturing myself more, look after myself more, become more aware of where I give my energy away, become aware of where I make choices that are not good for me. And I need to find balance. It's wonderful to give, but is there a balance in this giving, or is this still sacrificial? And then the other one is tomorrow on the 17th of June, Mars will be going into the sign of Virgo. And Mars, as we know, governs Aries. So there's a lot of Aries energy that is at the moment being integrated. And Virgo is, for me, it's the most beautiful sign. It's the healing sign. It's also the sign of purity, looking after your health. So really, really important to take some action. Mars is about action. It's about, taking steps. It's a active physical kind of energy. And in Virgo, it's saying take some active steps to pay attention to details, to look after your health, to maybe look at your nutrition, do a detox. Very, very important to not just, how shall I say, be inactive, and beyond that, even to resist it. Because if you're going to resist it, Mars is going to make it very uncomfortable for you. And we don't need to do that. We know. We have all this information now, and we are so much more open to receive the blessings of the universe and of the earth. So I would love to wish you a very amazing upcoming solstice, and thank you for being in the world, and thank you for holding space and being you and stepping into more and more of who you are and becoming. And just know that you have these superpowers. We are, we, the human, has been an experiment in a way, and we hold the codings in our DNA of, they call it the God code, the divine is within us. And we have a combination of stellar master races, star races. We have magnificent codings, but these codings have been dormant and we've forgotten about it, and we got trapped into this illusion of 3D. But we're starting to remember, and these capacities, this birthright that we have is phenomenal, and the unbelievable potential is going to start to emerge. So with so much love and gratitude for your being, Elizabeth.